Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down something that touches every single part of our lives, money. We're going to follow its journey, from the moment it lands in our hands to how we use it and all those big choices we have to make along the way.
Look, money can feel, well, really complicated, maybe even a little scary sometimes. But what if it's actually simpler than we make it out to be? Today, we're going to cut through all the noise, strip away the jargon, and get right to the heart of the ideas that shape our financial world. My hope is to make it all a lot easier to get a handle on.
So here's our game plan. We'll walk through these 5 simple sections step by step to build a really clear picture of how this whole thing works. Okay, let's just dive right in at the very beginning with the most basic question of all. What exactly is money? I mean, we use it every single day, but have we ever really stopped to think about it? At its core, money is really just a tool. That's it. It's this thing that we've all agreed has value, so we can trade it for things we need, like groceries, or things we want, like a ticket to a concert. It just makes buying and selling so much easier than, say, trying to trade a chicken for a haircut. And it's kind of wild to think about how much money has changed. Way back when, people had to barter. Can you imagine? I'll give you 3 eggs for that loaf of bread. It worked, but it was messy. So we invented coins and paper bills to make it all smoother. And today, well, we've taken another giant leap. So much of our money isn't even physical anymore. It's just digital numbers on a screen when we tap a card or use our phones. All right, so we've got a handle on what money is. The next big question is pretty obvious, right? Where does it come from? How does it actually end up in our hands in the first place? Well, there are a bunch of different ways. For most of us, the main one is having a job where we earn a salary. But that's not the only way, of course. You could work for yourself. Maybe you're an artist who sells paintings. Money can also come as a gift, or as support from the government if you need it. Or, hey, even from just selling some old stuff you don't use anymore. So getting money is just part 1 of the story. Part 2, where it really gets interesting, is what we do with it. Once we have it, how does it flow back out into the world? We spend our money on all sorts of things. First, you've got the absolute essentials, your needs, food, a roof over your head, the power bill. Then there are our wants, things like going to the movies or that new gadget. And this one's important. We also use money to invest in our future, like for education or to help other people out by giving to charity. But what about those really, really big expenses, like a car? Most of us don't have that kind of cash just lying around. That's where something called a loan comes in. It's basically like getting an advance. A bank gives you the money you need now, and you agree to pay it back over time, plus a little extra for their trouble. That extra bit is called interest. You've probably heard people talk about a mortgage. Well, just think of it as a super specific, usually very large, long-term loan. It's designed for pretty much one thing, to help you buy a home, which for many people is the biggest purchase they'll ever make. We also use our money to invest in ourselves, and a huge way we do that is through education. The money you pay to go to a college or university, that fee is called tuition, and it can be one of the most powerful investments a person makes in their own future. Okay, so this brings us to probably the single most important decision we make with our money, every single day. For every dollar we get, we're faced with this one fundamental choice. Do I spend it now, or do I save it for later? And that's the choice, right? Spending versus saving. Spending is for the here and now. Groceries, bills, a fun night out. Saving, on the other hand, is about thinking ahead. It's about being ready for an unexpected emergency, or working towards a big goal like a new car, or, for life after you stop working. Finding that sweet spot, that right balance between the two, that's the key. So, how do you manage that choice? Well, there's a really simple tool called a budget. And please, don't let that word scare you. All a budget is a plan for your money. Its magic is that it shows you exactly what's coming in and exactly what's going out. That way, you're the one in control, instead of getting to the end of the month and wondering, where did it all go? And a great place to start with that budget is by making this simple but really powerful separation, figuring out the difference between your needs and your wants. Needs are the things you absolutely have to have, like food and a place to live. Wants are the nice-to-haves, the extras that make life more fun but aren't totally essential. Just knowing the difference can be a total game changer. Of course, life doesn't always go according to plan, and for a lot of people, money can be a real challenge. So let's take a moment and look at what happens when there just isn't enough. One of the biggest challenges is something called debt. This is what happens when the money you've borrowed from loans or credit cards starts to pile up, And the real tricky part is when the amount you owe starts growing faster than you can pay it back. That's when it can turn into a really heavy weight to carry.
Sometimes, though, money problems aren't about your personal choices at all. They're about bigger things that are completely out of your control. A recession is a perfect example. That's when the whole country's economy is struggling, which can be tough on everyone because it often means businesses slow down and jobs are harder to find.
And whether it's because of debt or losing a job or something else entirely, the end result can be finding yourself broke. It's a simple word, but it's a powerful one. It just means that after all the bills are paid, there's nothing left over.
And that phrase hit me pretty hard. It just says so much, doesn't it? It really captures the personal, heavy feeling that these financial struggles have. It's not just about numbers. It's a really difficult human experience. And the impact goes way beyond just the financial side of things. Constantly worrying about money creates a ton of emotional stress. It can make you feel sad or angry. It can keep you up at night. And sadly, it can even cause friction with the people you love. That stress is a very real hidden cost. But here's the good news. By just understanding these basic ideas, how we get money, how we use it, how to save, and the challenges to look out for, we can really empower ourselves. This isn't about becoming some financial wizard. It's about gaining the knowledge and the confidence to make smarter choices for you and your future. Because really, when you boil it all down, managing money isn't about some grand, complex strategy. It's about the small, daily choices we make, one after another. It all starts with one decision. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What is one small, smart money choice you can make today?